Hi, everybody. Welcome to Square It Up. I'm Bill Swinford.
And I'm Monica Daniels.
And back in the back here, Tom Mann.
Hi. Hey.
Hi.
So we have our weekly podcast from the Swinford Media Group covering things around the Marion Square, covering Williamson County. And we're going to start on kind of a sad note today because Williamson County's lost not only a wonderful protector, a first responder, but also a good friend to so many of us, and that's Chief Jeremy Norris of the Williamson County Fire Protection District, who passed away on Sunday, March 23rd. And Tom, you knew Jeremy.
Yeah, I knew Jeremy very well. He I guess I did a lot of work for him, different things for them, and my son started with Williamson County Fire as a firefighter and a volunteer. That's how he began, came back and became paid, and Jeremy was a big part of that, and I got to know him and did a lot of video work for him and different things. And I think last I saw him was this past fall and in his office. And I knew at that time he was having a tough time. He wasn't saying too much. Jeremy didn't really bother you with a lot of things. Jeremy was he did his job. He's professional. But I knew he was going through a lot. And finally it was cancer. He had a long bout with that. But just an incredible professional guy. And a lot of people, I wish they could have known him. But just a wonderful guy.
Highly respected as a firefighter and as an individual, like you said.
Very innovative, I would call him that.
Yeah.
He's done so much for this county and the county, Williamson County.
There you go, creative. He is somebody, I pastor a little church that has several volunteer firefighters for the Williamson County Fire Protection District, Pleasant Grove Church. And we always say that if a fire call goes off, while we're having service, there goes half the congregation. But it's very cool because these are wonderful people.
Yeah.
And you think about volunteer firefighters, that's the way Jeremy started as a volunteer firefighter. Matter of fact, I know Jeremy going back to the 1980s. Jeremy and I first met at the old Marion Daily Republican building on Tower Square. If you could see this corner of the square over here next to John Brown's, there used to be an old building there that for decades housed the Marion Daily Republican, which for a long time was a daily newspaper in Marion. And I was working for the Heron spokesman at the time. We're talking about, I was in my 20s. He was early in his 20s, and he was working in the composition room there. Then we would bring over our stories, and back in those days, you would paste up the stories on grid sheets, and then you would shoot a negative of them, and you would burn it onto a metal plate and send it off to the press plant, which was in West Frankfort. And Jeremy was early in his career doing that kind of work. And then I worked with him again in the mid to late 90s at the Daily American in West Frankfort. And by that time, he was running their composition room, and he was doing more and more digital, more and more behind the computer. But he also had gotten very involved and already highly respected as a firefighter. He eventually was hired as a deputy officer, deputy chief. And so there's only just a couple of paid positions within that fire protection district. And I think he's been chief for, I don't have it in front of me, but
2010, I think he became
I was thinking about 15 years ago, became chief. And that you've seen just in your time here, I've seen that district just grow. You're watching or listening to this, but the services for Jeremy are taking place at Firehouse 1, which is their newest one on East Main Street in Marion.
Which was this last weekend is what it would be.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So just our hearts go out to his wife, to his whole family. I believe his parents are still with us. And all of those, he's got other family members that, and of course, all of those firefighters are family too, aren't they?
Oh, they are. And one thing I will say about him that is so amazing, he was very open with a lot of letting people know that was going on. But they have such a great program, Williamson County. They feed a lot of firefighters into the paid departments in our area. In fact, I know one or two of the chiefs that are some of the paid departments in our area happen to be Williamson County firefighters. They came from that. So
training
I would always say, I remember talking with Jeremy a couple of times and said, okay, he's always said, yeah, we know we're going to lose one of them, or we've lost 3 or 4 more, but they've gone on to other departments and become paid firefighters. And so he's really they had a great program. And I really give a lot of credit to Jeremy and those that are in leadership there. So well respected. And I've had the opportunity to do a podcast with him and other things, and just a really good guy. My son just sings his praises. Just really appreciate him.
So I think we're showing some video that will have Jeremy in it that Tom has provided. As those of you that follow Squared Up know that Tom does a lot of work with a lot of firefighters, both here and in Memphis, and just documenting the kind of work they do. And you could see what I'm seeing right now. There's firefighting equipment and helmets and all kinds of gear over there against the wall, because Tom has a heart for this, and he knows a good firefighter when he sees one, and he knows who we've lost in Chief Jeremy. So hearts go out to him.
Yeah, we'll miss him.
So we have something exciting to talk about today, and it's something that we've gotten involved in. There's actually a couple of pieces. Many of you will recall that every July, Senator Fowler's office kind of takes the charge in leading something called the Southern Illinois Made Expo. It takes place at the Pavilion of the City of Marion. It is happening again this year. We're going to talk about that, as well as a new talent show that's tied into that we're getting to participate in. And so we're going to start bringing in Senator Fowler, who's visiting us here in the studio and joining us to talk about this event. And he's going to sit and talk to Monica and Tom and I. We're all interested in this. With him is Jared Long from his office, and we'll try to introduce him to you as well. Senator Fowler, welcome.
Well, great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you here on Squared Up. I think you've met Monica before. Monica's director at the Heron Chamber of Commerce, and so we've got all kinds of opportunities to work together and to spread the good news of the stuff that you're doing. And this particular topic today is something that you've been doing for quite a while. How many years now for the Southern Illinois Made Expo?
The first expo was in 2018, July of 2018.
Okay, so is this make this the seventh, or were we shut down during COVID?
Two years we were shut down. One year we just didn't have it at all. We did some social media just to keep the awareness out there and keep the name going. And then the second year of COVID, even though we couldn't be at the pavilion again, we just did kind of a virtual Southern Illinois Made Expo, because I wanted to continue to raise some money for veterans organizations. So we just did it via social media, and it was very successful. But yeah, so we've been doing it for quite a while.
Well, let's go ahead and right out front get out the details of this year's, and then we'll talk a little bit about how we got here. This year we have the traditional Southern Illinois Made Expo at the Pavilion on Saturday, July 19th. It will run from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's a one-day event this year.
Correct.
And I'll remind you of this in a little bit, but it's you can find more details at www.simade.org. So tell us how the expo came about. What was the purpose?
Well, it's kind of a lengthy story, honestly, Bill. When I went through the Delta Regional Authority, Delta Leadership Institute, the southern 16 counties are the most northern part of the Delta Regional Authority. Mm-hmm. And every year, the governor of the 8 states that are included, they appoint 4 people each year to go through this Leadership Institute, and then you become, once you graduate, then you become part of the Delta Leadership Network.
Mm-hmm. We've got friends that have been participated in that as well.
Yeah, and it's been phenomenal. I was able to do get a lot of grants through the Delta Regional Authority, especially back when I was the mayor of Harrisburg, and just created a lot of opportunity to network and find opportunities for for projects throughout Southern Illinois. So, but to graduate the Institute, I went through in 08 and 09, graduated in 09. To graduate the Institute, you had to have a presentation. And kind of with my business background that I had, I always loved marketing and just really kind of showing off what we had. I decided that I wanted to showcase a Southern Illinois Delta-made product. So I kind of thought, well, what would be a good product that kind of started from just a kind of a mom and pop, maybe a garage or something. And I instantly came up with Dinger Bats out of Ridgeway, Illinois.
Oh, sure, yeah. A
true success story that started in a garage in Ridgeway, Illinois. And Kevin Drone started the company, and his son Kyle is now really, really involved in it. So I went to Kevin. I said, hey, I've got this idea. I want you to be part of this presentation. I really want to showcase a Delta-made product out of Southern Illinois. So he said, yeah, that would be great. I'd love for you to. So I had him make these little miniature Dinger Bats and put them like they're like a little trophy on a home plate, template, and a base, and it looked like a little trophy, but it was the home plate, and it had the insignia of the Delta Regional Authority map on the plate, and then it had the little miniature bat, and it had the Delta Regional Authority logo on the barrel of the bat. And he made me like 80 of those. And so I gave everyone at the presentation
that was a big hit.
Oh, it was a huge hit.
Yeah.
They loved it. And I just, really wanted to talk about how you can start a business that's in a garage and be a true success story. And now, of course, major league players from all over the United States are using the bat. So, and that's kind of how it came about. And then when I became state senator, and I started really touring around a lot of the manufacturing we have in Southern Illinois, and there's a lot of manufacturers in Southern Illinois that I didn't even really know existed. Like Mounds Oil Dry or Cahokia Rice, or even Fired Up Jams and Jellies, from the big to the small, and touring Ison Manufacturing and General Dynamics and Continental Tire. It's like there's a lot of manufacturing. So.
And some of them distributing internationally, and you don't even realize
all over the
that they're
world,
operating out of that building.
Yeah, like Mounds Oil Dry. They also make kitty litter that's sold in Walmarts and Targets all over the country. Compact International, when I toured there, their bags are on the space shuttle in outer space.
Wow.
So things like that, and then obviously big and small. If it's as I mentioned, Fired Up Jams and Jellies, or 17th Street Dust, or Uncle Joe's Barbecue, whatever it may be. And I thought, boy, it'd really be neat to be able to bring these products underneath one roof. So I kind of had this idea, and I had a meeting with my outreach staff and my event staff and communication staff in Springfield. And I said, hey, I got this idea, and I want to call it Southern Illinois Made Expo. And I also want to include destinations, because obviously tourism is a huge driver in Southern Illinois.
Right.
And they said, well, that's a really good idea. So then we worked through the logistics of it. And voila, had the first one in 2018. And we had the first year, I believe we had about 130 vendors. And it's really interesting, when you come up with an idea for the first time, it's kind of nerving, because, okay, I've got this idea. Our vendor's going to register to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And then they did. And then, okay, the next step is, are people going to come in through the doors? And they did, and I'll never forget. It was 2 days, Saturday and a Sunday in July. This is the first year we've just doing the one day and expanded the hours. But I'll never forget. I was doing an interview, a TV interview, 15 minutes before we unlocked the door. It was about 9:45 a.m. at the pavilion, and I'm in the expo hall. And I wrapped up the interview, and one of my staff members came up to me and said, "Senator, go look out the front door." So I went and looked out the front door, and there was like 100 people lined up at the door waiting to get in. I'm thinking, yes, this is going to be good, And obviously, wanted to have a purpose for it as well.
Well, just the one purpose that I've always seen with it, and is obvious to me when you start talking about bringing all of them under one roof and opening people's eyes to what gets manufactured here in Southern Illinois. It's very much a morale builder, because our region at times has needed that. We've needed a little bit of a boost. We've had things, go away that used to be manufactured here. Obviously, the coal industry as it once was is not anymore. And when that went away and some other things happened, like Maytag plant closes in Heron and some other things go away, you start thinking, oh well, we're just going downhill. And yet, like you said, there's just so much happening here. So much of it coming off the entrepreneurial spirit that we have here. And there are a lot of folks that just need to be reminded that we've got some great folks here doing some great things.
What we have. And one of the greatest things that I hear during the event, and even after, when I would run into people just going around Southern Illinois, they would come up and say, I didn't know, that Cahokia Rice was made in Southern Illinois, or,
Nice.
Uncle Joe's was in Southern Illinois. I didn't know that till I went to the expo. And then to network with, and these businesses and companies get to network with each other as well. And they get to showcase what they do. Sometimes they pick up some employees. Some of the companies are now selling some of the other companies' products. There's been some major contracts established from those that have participated in the Southern Illinois Made Expo. And again, touching on tourism, one thing I didn't realize until I became a state senator, we love hiking and cycling and canoeing and things like that, is that I have 20 Illinois Department of Natural Resource state parks in my district. Far more than any Senate district in the entire state of Illinois. Plus, what else? The Shawnee National Forest. So I wanted to really showcase our tourism, our destinations as well. So the Shawnee National Forest, that they're there, and a lot of tourist attractions are there. And so
Another thing that we take for granted, some of us who lifelong here take for granted, others don't even see. They don't understand how blessed we are in that way.
absolutely. And
So you've seen this thing grow year by year.
Yeah, yeah. So how many people did you have last year?
well, the most we've had the first year
Yeah.
we had, and we didn't have anybody there with a counter. We had people. What we did is we offered like free goodie bags to the first 200 that came in both days, and there was, the donations that were taken at the door. So it was kind of an estimate that around 2,000 to 2,500 came the very first year. And I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. It was like 4,500. So, but this year we're going to actually. I think I'm going to try to have somebody with a counter to get a kind of an official count. But it was just. I mean, you know how big that expo hall is. In a banquet room as well. It was packed with people, and it was awesome. And so, narrowing it down to one day this year instead of the 10 to 4 on a Saturday and Sunday that we normally have it. It's going to be 10 to 6 on July the 19th, as you mentioned, Bill. Because what we found is, these companies are, they're bringing their products in, they're, showcasing, setting up, and they have to have people there, right? Mm-hmm. So we found out that we're actually, some of the vendors and businesses and manufacturers wanted to participate, but they couldn't tie up people for 2 days.
Right.
So and Saturday's usually our largest day anyway, even so Sunday's good. So we just decided to give it a shot and go one day and just expand it by 2 hours.
And you mentioned the purpose. There's a tie-in to this as well that does a lot of good.
Absolutely, and obviously we have incredible sponsors and people make donations and things like that, and the vendors pay a nominal fee to register and be a part of it. But I wanted the event to really have a purpose, and there's no better purpose than supporting our local veterans organizations. And so I decided that the very first year we gave 100% of the proceeds to Honor Flight of Southern Illinois. Mm-hmm. And I think the first year we raised is around $28,000 at the expo the very first year. Fantastic. And then the second year we split it between Honor Flight of Southern Illinois and Honor Guard of Southern Illinois. Because, Honor Guard, they have do the military rites for our fallen heroes. And what I found out was working with Honor Guard was a lot of those that participate have to buy their own clothing, and they were really struggling. So
they are out there, and a lot of them are older gentlemen, yes. older women as well, and they are out there sometimes on some very hot or some very cold days, and they are volunteering their time to honor other veterans. I know I had the Honor Guard at my father's funeral. What a blessing that is.
I had the same at my father's funeral, and that was this past summer. That was amazing. Yeah, and I've known all about them, but I've never really experienced until they come. And
you don't stop and think about, they have to, they need resources. I know
to do all that.
That Marion's was able to buy a bus, but I'm not sure some of the others even have that available.
I don't know, and it's a big deed. It is something very special. So that's just one. So that's one of the. I guess beneficiaries of this whole thing.
It was. So we keep expanding it. In fact, I believe it was the first 2 years, we raised enough money to fund an entire flight for Honor Flight to take our veterans to Washington, D.C. And then we also raised, I believe it was around $40,000 for Honor Guard to be able to buy their apparel for those. And and they said, okay, we're good. We're golden now. So, and then 2 years ago, I found out about Giant City Stables. They have a program there at the stables called Veterans Equine Therapeutic Services. Yeah. Equine services for, veterans with PTSD or whatever it may be.
We visited them. They do great work there.
As well as autistic children and things like that. And I was there and I saw the kids on the horses as well, and the success stories of the equine therapeutic services that they had, and the success stories from the veterans. Right. And I was talking to Ramona that runs it, and she said, "Well, one of our big challenges is the arena there is not enclosed. Mm-hmm. So during inclement weather, they develop all this momentum throughout the spring, summer, and fall for these services, and then in the winter they have to stop the services because of inclement weather." Mm-hmm. And they said, we could really use an enclosed arena. So we gave 100% of all the proceeds that year to them, And in just a very few short weeks, we're going to have the grand opening
Yeah,
of
I
the
knew,
arena.
knew
there.
that was under
Yeah.
construction. We're friends with Patricia, who works with
Yes.
them as well.
Yes.
And she was just so excited when she
Oh.
was able to bring us that news
And-
that they were going to get that arena.
And now they're going to be able to offer their services year round. And in fact, I got to tell this story about one of the little boy actually, on one of the horses, said his very first word from being on a horse, getting therapeutic services,
Wow.
and that was mom. And the mom was there, obviously. And
Yeah.
the very first time a single word had come out of that little boy's mouth.
Fantastic.
And to hear the veterans, and then we've also last year we worked with Down the Leash, the service dog,
sure.
organization, and This Able Vet. Last year we split it three ways: Down the Leash, This Able Vet, which is also a service dog organization, and then we also helped Honor Flight of Southern Illinois. Yeah, we gave them we split it three ways. That's right, Honor Flight. So Honor Flight is golden this year. I mean, they've done really well, and so this year for 2025, I'm going to announce again the beneficiaries for this year. So this year we're giving it to Down the Leash, the service dog organization. Their success story is incredible. What they've been able to do with these service dogs for our veterans. So they're very thankful. And then also this year we are giving the 50% of the proceeds to Marion VA Food Pantry.
Oh, great.
So my foundation, the food pantry that I have, our mobile food pantry that I have through my 501c3 not-for-profit, we've been helping Heaven's Kitchen, that organization I have. We've been helping stock that food pantry when we have the product to help them out. And in fact, we just had an event called Together We Can Canned Soup Drive, and we delivered canned soup all over Southern Illinois just a couple of days ago, and we delivered a lot there. And we had already announced to them that they're going to be a 50% beneficiary of this year's.
That's huge.
Yes, huge. And what I found out, and we started talking numbers about the veterans that they serve throughout the region. It's not just for Marion veterans; it's throughout the region that they serve. They serve over 45,000 veterans. And what I found out that really got our attention was that approximately 13,000. This is coming from them. Approximately 13,000 veterans are suffering from food insecurities. So when we called Chandra at the food pantry and said, we're going to select you as a 50% beneficiary of this year's Southern Illinois Made proceeds, and she just started. You can imagine how emotional
Well,
she
that's
got.
definitely righting a wrong that our veterans, so many of our veterans.
This
are
is
going through
America.
that.
Our veterans should not. No one should be going hungry, especially our veterans. So
And
we're
then
excited.
Those support dogs, those are really incredible. My son has one, and he has one with him, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It
It's
is,
really
and
good.
the success stories that you hear. In fact, they're able to detect cancer within
They're amazing.
It's like I had no idea, and it's so we can't have enough of those dogs, and they're expensive to train. So they're over the moon excited. So
Dogs are wonderful.
That-
My dogs specialize in just getting out under the fence and,
Yeah.
and making life complicated. But I love even them. But I can imagine when you have a dog that's been trained to better your life, to look after you, to calm, even if it's just a calming effect. Or
He talks
or
about how it
detect.
calms him, and it's just that's something. Since he got 100% disabled from the military, that was a big deal.
it's such a and to work firsthand with all these veterans organizations that we've been able to work with through the expo, and see firsthand, boots on the ground, the difference from just like this arena when they get this arena. So this next winter, they're going to be full operation year round.
That's right.
So this
How great for those kids that they don't have to take that long break from those kind of services.
So the expo, since day one, 2018, has raised over $350,000 for local veterans organizations. And
Amazing.
that's just because of amazing Southern Illinois and
So
our
we're-
vendors and our sponsors.
we're going to keep that going. And this year we're adding a new event to the expo. And Swinford Media Group has gotten involved in this. We're very excited and blessed to be a part of this. This will be happening the night before on Friday, July 18th at Little Nashville, right on the square and right next door to where we're located. And it will be called, Jared, have we got a name for this yet?
The Southern Illinois Made Talent Show.
There we go. Southern Illinois
there you
Made
go.
Talent Show.
There you go.
Well,
Got to throw up the tag in there.
Southern
right?
Illinois Made Talent Show.
Southern
That's what
Illinois
you- yeah,
Made
there
Talent
we
Show.
go.
Jared Long. Some of you will know Jared. Jared is sitting off camera, but Jared is an amazing employee of the senator's office. Also, great videographer. Hey, before we forget, before we forget,
There he is, right
before we
there.
get into this talent show. Good. We've got Jared on camera. Jared, let's talk a little bit about this extra piece that you've been doing with the senator here lately on camera, having a little fun. Tell us about that, and then we'll get back to the talent show.
Southern Illinois Treasures, which is a video series he's always had. But we were showing off Garden of the Gods, and we were showing some of the off the beaten places as well too. But we're like, man, there's a difference between Garden of the Gods, scenic trail, and even the wilderness trail off the beaten path, which nobody goes to. So we're like, we need to do a video series that shows off the beaten path, but you have to know people who know where these are at.
Yeah.
Signage can be tough sometimes in
Yeah.
the Shawnee National Forest and stuff like that in the state parks. And so we reached out to Hiking with Sean and said, hey, we want to show people the off the beaten path. That's all he does is 24/7. He gets off work and he's on a trail somewhere. And so we brought him on. We were like, man, we want to get people excited about this. We kind of came up with an idea in the building we were at to use this vault that we had to show, hey, and in fact, it's in our office is in Harrisburg, Illinois, which is considered the gateway to the Garden of the Gods.
Right. Sure.
So it got me thinking with Southern Illinois Treasures being in Harrisburg, being the gateway to the Garden of the Gods, what if there was an actual physical gateway to Southern Illinois, to some of these parks and
Did
stuff?
you find it? Did you find it?
So yes, yeah. I mean, and you'll see on Senator Fowler's Facebook page. We also have a YouTube page called Southern Illinois Treasures as well too, and then also on his website, senatorfowler.com, you can find these video series. And so yes, in the first one, I don't want to give away too much because I don't want any spoilers if somebody hasn't seen it. But it's turned into a 3-part series. We put out one and we showed that there was this vault, but we didn't show what was in it. And from there, we had a lot of people like, "What's in that vault? We have to know." So we're like, "Oh, we got to create more series onto this." And so it's kind of it's gained some momentum as it's been going on. But what's really cool is it's between just the 3 videos, I think it's got over 70,000 views that it's got. So
Fantastic.
for us, we're trying to not only, and you were talking about a morale booster, having that morale booster of knowing that there's things that you can do here. There's so many tourism opportunities between zip lining, the alpaca farms, all kinds of stuff like that. But then the state parks and the national parks as well too. It was a morale booster, but it's also showing people outside of Southern Illinois how much we have to offer to bring people down here to see how beautiful it is. And so it's been cool between the SI Made Expo and then the Southern Illinois Treasures. Those were 2 things that I was personally passionate about. And so I was like, Hiking with Sean's passionate about the outdoors and stuff like that. And so what you're seeing in Southern Illinois, and sorry, I'm getting a little long-winded here, but what you're seeing in Southern Illinois is through the SI Made Expo, through Southern Illinois Treasures, and getting to work with local state park officials and working with the Shawnee National Forest, there's a spirit of camaraderie and a spirit of working together and collaboration that's happening in Southern Illinois that has just been so cool to see.
Well, I just think there's just so many of us agree that Southern Illinois should not be this well-kept secret. I mean, obviously for a long, long time, there's been a joke that when people think of Illinois, they think of Chicago, and if we're not Chicago, then we must be just strictly farmland.
Yeah.
And so much of what Southern Illinois has to offer has not gotten out far enough and spread out. And so now we have opportunities. I was just thinking about this earlier, and Tom Mann's in this category too. But Jared Long, Tom Mann, some other folks that we work with, there are so many people in this area that are so talented at capturing the beauty, the aesthetic, and just then. But it's not. There's nothing fake about it. There's nothing that we're trying to put a shiny bow on. It's the real. It's what you experience if you will get outdoors and experience Southern Illinois. There's so much of that needs to be shared. There's so much about what happens here, what's made here, what's created here. There are so many now good communicators in so many different ways, and the blessing now is the ability through the web and social media to get this stuff viral and get it out into the world. And so I wanted to give a shout out, Tom and Jared, both of you, for the work that you do to share these stories, to share these images. You can also find Jared on social media with Southern Illinois Cinema.
So Ill Cinema. Yep.
Southern Illinois Cinema. So Ill Cinema.
Yep.
So when you see that, that's Jared. And if you've seen that, you know immediately what kind of talent that is. For those that
I
are
need
watching,
to learn about that one. I guess. Yeah. Hey, I did a series years ago, and this is what I'm sort of leaning in.
No,
on.
yeah, you're fine.
Had to do with going to the different destinations in the Ozarks,
Yeah.
Ozarks, and all the different places that you can stay. And my wife wound up going spending a lot of time. One year during COVID, we stayed at these different cabins and things, and it's just looks like East Tennessee. I'm from Tennessee originally, so
Yeah.
it's just that gorgeous look, and there's so many destinations, and there's so many businesses, and there's just a great group of folks that do that.
And it's so unsuspecting. I'm from Central Illinois. I had no idea. It was,
Exactly.
the Southern Illinois still is very much a hidden secret,
Yeah.
as far as the state parks and the Shawnee National Forest. It's becoming less and less that, thanks to social media and thanks to, videos in the algorithm being able to get that out to people outside of Southern Illinois and stuff like that. But coming from Central Illinois, I feel like that's one of my favorite comments on videos is they're like, "This isn't Illinois," and I'm like, "I know. I thought the same thing whenever I went out to this place." And I'm constantly, when I'm down here at the state parks and at the Shawnee National Forest, I'm like, "I can't believe this is Illinois," because all I've known is, just north of Springfield, Illinois, the cornfields and the stereotypical. If it's not Chicago, it's this kind of location. And yeah, it's different down here in Southern Illinois.
And what we found is, when I started Southern Illinois Treasures Initiative, like Jared alluded to, I was going around and doing, we were doing voiceovers and just narrations and drone footage of, all the sites that we have, and it's quite phenomenal. And it's getting, and we're really pushing this out all over the country, and to have people, especially some of my colleagues that live up around Chicago, that finally have taken, grabbed their kids and come down here and spend a weekend or a long weekend or a week here in Southern Illinois, and they go back and say, I had no idea. And then, all the hit, that's why we have the series Hidden Gems, because there's so much more than Garden of the Gods or Rimrock or Pounds Hollow or Cave and Rock. And so we want to showcase that and let people know where it is.
Well, hats off to you for being willing to go along with his harebrained ideas.
Well, when I had a chance to pick, I guess it was about 3 years ago when I heard about Jared's work and had him do some videography for the Southern Illinois Expo, and then I had an opportunity to bring him on staff and get him to move down here to Southern Illinois. It's been a win-win for all of us.
And it just and it gets more fun all the time, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
With some of the things that you all are cooking up. Well, congratulations on that. Now let's get back to our Southern Illinois Made Talent Show.
That's right.
Yes, that will be on July 18th. Now, what we're going to do with this is taking place at Little Nashville on the Square. And we are going to have an audition round. That's the plan, that we will be putting the word out about, very soon, so that we're looking for singers. Very much an American Idol kind of an approach on this, looking for singers to come and participate in this. We'll have an audition round. I think we're planning even to put that on video and to share that out as well. We will have our judges, of which I am one. Do you think that's a good idea or not?
I think that's a great idea.
I think it's a wonderful
I think you have
idea.
a good eye
I would
for
be
talent.
when Jared said you were going to be a judge, I thought, great, we need Bill there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never considered myself very judgmental, but I can be.
Hey, this is the first.
This might be an opportunity to change my whole image, because I'm known as this nice guy, and I think I got a Simon Cowell hidden in me, and I think I could. Well, we'll try.
Everyone's warned.
Listen.
Your
We'll be
inner
kind.
Simon
We'll be
Cowell is
kind.
coming
Listen,
out.
I've got no room to talk when it comes to singing talent. I'm sure I'll be blown away by everybody, but we'll look forward to getting the word out on that and helping you figure out how to sign up for this. Come audition with us, and then on the 18th, we're going to have a fantastic show at Little Nashville that we are going to then stream out through our channels and yours as well, I'm sure, to get it out to a wide audience to get to see this talent show live as it happens. You'll have a chance to vote straight directly that night, and we'll choose our winner. Monica's going to be a part of that, hosting that night.
Great.
and we'll try to rope Tom in while he's.
Yeah, I
while
was
we
going to ask you, you going to invite the Squared Up Singers to be a big part of that? I'm sure
Squared Up
Senator Fowler
Singers
and
are
Jared
gonna
haven't
be-
heard any of
I've
that.
They
seen
should
that.
definitely
I've
all-
seen
Oh my
that.
gosh, yeah.
Should definitely audition.
I'm joking. I'm
We'll have
really
to-
joking. Yeah.
We'll have to work up something, not Christmassy this time. We'll have to work up something else. We'll put just as much rehearsal time into it as we did for the Christmas
It was
songs.
so bad. It was just,
I enjoyed it.
Who knows?
It was entertaining.
I mean, I may have to sit this one out. It may just be a duet between you two because I am a judge. I wouldn't be able to participate in it.
And we want,
Dominant
we want
the
everyone to
donkey,
know
that's
as
what
well
we'd
that
say.
all the proceeds from the Southern Illinois Maids Got Talent, all those proceeds will go to the expo and to be distributed to the veterans
veterans as well.
organizations.
Yeah.
And something that's very important, I think, for everyone to know that all the expenses are underwritten and everything. 100% of every penny that comes into this expo, and I do mean 100%. It's always been that way from day one. It'll always be that way as long as I'm involved with it. 100% goes back to these veterans organizations.
Right.
I think very nicely the senator's saying he doesn't want the Squared Up Singers there for that very reason. They're trying to raise some funds. That's what he's saying. He's saying it nicely,
No, perfect opportunity
diplomatically.
to say, listen, if you want them to stop,
Yeah, throw an extra 20 in the hat.
There we go. That'd get a lot.
This is true.
Yeah, so it's actually the expo is really, I guess you could say it's still a 2-day event. It's just got a little twist on
Yeah,
things
no,
on the
that's-
Friday night. So I think I think it's going to be so much fun, and
it's a great twist.
again, all of our sponsors and everyone, and it's going to what better cause to help our veterans organizations.
Another opportunity to showcase the best of Southern Illinois.
That's
In this
right.
case, I mean, we hope to have. I'm sure we will. Some fantastic, amazing talent to entertain you that night as we do that. So, thanks to Jared for getting us involved in that. Thank you, Senator Fowler. I think we've kind of told the story about Southern Illinois Made.
One story I want to talk about is
Go ahead.
also we're going back again this year with the Christmas in July theme.
Oh, okay.
Right, we started that 2 years ago. Just kind of an idea. Originally, when I created 2018, it was just more. I just wanted to showcase what we had. And I really wasn't expecting the vendors to sell products or whatever. I wanted, a lot of vendors don't. A lot of the companies don't have products to sell, like an Ison or a Continental Tire, right?
Right.
So as we started getting other vendors like 17th Street or Fired Up Jams and Jellies or Colquitt Rice, I said, I want you to have an opportunity to sell your product. So we came up with a theme 2 years ago, Christmas in July theme. Obviously, Shop Southern Illinois initiative, and I really want to give a lot of kudos to Marion Chamber of Commerce for helping us get through this, and as well as the Southern Illinois Regional Chambers of Commerce. But now everyone can come in. Anybody wants to come in, they can buy their Southern Illinois made Christmas gifts at the expo. And so a lot of we'll have Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus there again.
Can't have enough Christmas.
We're gonna have a lot of fun for the kiddos. There's going to be face painting and balloons and games for the kids, and to really have these vendors have an opportunity to sell the products, and a lot of them will decorate their booth in July for Christmas. Of course, we'll have a giant Christmas tree in the pavilion. So that's something I really want people to think about when they come. Hopefully, they're going to come and enjoy all this. But also be prepared to really, take care of all your Christmas shopping in July with Southern Illinois made products.
Terrific. And so now it invites the idea of using Southern Illinois Made Got Talent to showcase Dominic the Italian Donkey, our Christmas song that the Squared Up Singers love to sing.
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll work this out. Hey, listen, thank you, Senator
Oh, thank you
Fowler.
for having me. It's been an honor to be here.
Thank you, Jared, for joining us, for getting us, like I said, getting us involved. We're going to let the senator go ahead and leave the set now because we got more to tell you. But looking forward to this so very much.
That was great. It was really good to have the senator here, and appreciate you being here. That was great, and learned a lot. I'm really anxious to hear and see more about this expo. I've never been to it myself, so I don't know about you guys.
So I'm looking forward to discovering more businesses here in Southern Illinois, and more businesses to support and shop locally. And one of the things that he touched on that I appreciated too is how the businesses are finding each other now at these expos, and they're supporting each other. They'll start carrying each other's products and supporting each other that way.
Right.
So
Yeah. And so with this new piece of the talent show this year. Again, we've got you talk about having a lot of talent in one room like they do at the expo.
Right.
We're gonna have a lot of talent in one room at Little Nashville for this.
Yeah.
Right?
Be fun.
Yeah, and they will get to discover probably our talent because, as we talked about, the Squared Up Singers may just
That is
No,
no, that's anti-talent.
I think Senator Fowler said that we would get paid not to perform.
Not to sing. Yeah, we could
And,
raise them.
we would get paid.
Raise a lot of
we're
money.
getting paid.
Pay us
That
to-
would be awesome.
Well, we're not going to be
Not
paid.
Well,
We're
we're raising money.
We're going to raise
We're
money.
it's for a good cause.
So if you don't want us to perform, I would really encourage it. Just help out.
Matter of fact, the way we'll do this is if you donate ahead of time, if you start sending in your funds right now, we'll make sure they get to Southern Illinois Made,
And we won't sing.
for-
Hold us
for
keep
every
us
dollar
away.
cent, we'll sing one. For every dollar cent, we'll sing one less note of what we were going to sing. But it seems a shame. It seems
Yeah.
a shame that you get together the best singing talent in Southern Illinois and you don't have the Squared Up Singers.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem right. There'll probably be people clamoring for
Yeah.
it. We'll if not this year, next year. I'm
Monica has
sure.
that excited look on her face. I can tell
I'm
right
just
now.
like-
Yeah.
No.
You know what this makes me think of? It makes me think of the fact that and maybe I didn't have enough of it, but I did grow up in Heron, where Heron used to, and to some extent still does, had a fantastic music program. The only difference between then and now is the number of teachers that we were able to have it and the number of resources those teachers were able to draw on. And it's not just fine arts like music and theater and band, but it's also the classic arts, the painting and the drawing and all of that training that our kids get. So this is a big issue that's in Heron right now. We've just had an election that was kind of centered around that in Heron, and so check out Swinford Publications and for the results on that. And we may just see some changes happening there because we know that there are some other communities in our region that have had to cut the arts. And when you cut the arts, you know what you get? You get
Squared Up Singers.
Squared Up Singers. Because people got to sing. They got to sing.
That's a good motivation.
Right.
To not cut the arts.
Yeah,
right?
so
Not
we're doing
cut the
everything we can. We're trying to do everything we can to keep it going. But there are some other groups that fill that gap for those schools that don't have as much to offer, including Art Starts and this weekend at the Marion Cultural and Civic Center. They're presenting Aladdin. So check that out. That's coming up. That would be April 5th, 6th, and 7th at the Marion Cultural and Civic Center. Tickets, I think, are still available, although probably not many because they always sell a lot of tickets
They do sell
for
out,
that.
yeah.
So, okay, that's plugging a lot of those kind of things happening around the square. Last thing we'll talk about is we were on the square today for our weekly mastermind group at the Ethos Building. We talked about this a week or two or three ago. One of the things we do in our mastermind, at least kind of new this year, is that we've passed cards around and we have written a little something about everybody that we wanted them to know. So in other words, you have a card for everybody in the group. We talked about how we're going to do this for Tom sometime, but we have a card for every name in the group.
Yeah.
And everybody just kind of anonymously is supposed to write on there. I think she's great because she does this. I think he's great because he's very encouraging or insightful or whatever. A lot of these kind of words.
So what happened?
And then
That's
you
all
throw,
we're going to get to.
and then you throw them in a pot. So everybody gets a card with everybody's name on it. Monica and I are both in this group, which meant Monica had to fill out a card with my name on it and come up with something to say about me. And then the surprise to her was that I got to read them all out loud. And I think she got a little embarrassed about it.
I thought I was writing it just for him.
Oh,
So
okay.
I didn't
She thought this was going to be a more private thing. We all end up sharing everything.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was writing it for everybody in the room.
And I'll tell you what, I was so touched.
It was really sweet though.
It was very sweet what she said to me. It was lovely. It was all something. It was all nothing that had to be censored. It was all stuff that I could share, and we got a lot of this. Aww. Every time I'd say something, aww.
And I was just blushing like
I was blushing a little bit too.
So bad.
I thought this was going to be something that was going to be just the opposite or something that was said in jest. You know?
So I passed my cards around a couple of weeks ago, and Monica wasn't there, so she ended up getting her cards, and she didn't end up sharing all of the comments other people made about her to the group. So she missed out on that part of it. But today she brought her cards, so the people that were there got to share what Monica
What I had to say about everyone.
had to say about everyone. So
that's nice. Okay.
little less anonymous, and it was pretty obvious. There was one other woman there who contributed her cards today, so I got a little awkward when I started reading all of the things that were being said about me by Monica, because they weren't sure if it was Monica or this other woman that said it. And I think we all thought it could have been the other woman, and then that would have been
Yeah, that
could have
would have
turned
been
into
really
a
bad,
fight or something.
Yeah.
Could have been really bad. But turns out,
Maybe in the parking lot.
turns
Why
out,
are
it
you
was-
saying
turns
this?
out-
See, I would have sat there. I would have looked at the other lady and said, "Oh, that is so sweet that you said all that to me." I
that's
just would have done
exactly
that just for fun.
exactly what I did.
You did? Did you really? Did he do that? Oh my gosh!
The poor lady.
Yeah, that sounds like that's something I would do just
He
to
totally
embarrass
was like-
everybody. And
I don't want to say her name, but he was looking at her like,
that-
like, I
that's-
think you should have
wow.
sent
I was
this
like,
to me in a
awkward,
text.
awkward. My girlfriend's here.
Here,
Come on.
you don't want Monica to hear that.
Yeah,
My
he
gosh.
said, I think you should have sent that to me in a text.
That's good. That's really good.
We have a lot of fun at Mastermind, and we learn a little bit every now and then. We're going to keep this going. We got another Mastermind starting next week. Tom, you need to do a Mastermind
I
sometime.
need to do that.
you
Mind
can-
and master doesn't go hand in hand with me. I don't know, but yeah, no, I know all about him though. Those are good.
Yeah, and Russell Williams is
great.
Facilitates these. It's basically a book club, but you're reading books that are very
Yeah.
helpful for those that are in leadership positions, business positions, running a business, running a household, or just trying to to get a grasp on some things. The one we're going to start next week is on breaking some bad habits. You want to talk about the bad habits you're wanting to break? No.
You put me on
We'll
the
talk
spot
about
like
that
that.
in a future episode.
Maybe
Stay
Yelling,
tuned for
yelling
that.
through her eye and things like that, but it's not a bad.
Oh
habit.
yeah, where she where
Yell
she
through her
can
eye?
whistle through her
Like,
eye.
Whistle through her eye. That's
Whistle.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not so much a bad habit as just something really gross. But we will in future.
I have no really gross bad habits.
But you can.
I can be late sometimes. That might be a bad
Really?
habit.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Your bad habit is sometimes you're late. Other than that, you have no bad habits.
I'm sure I have other bad habits. I just can't think of them when I've been put on the spot.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely be finding out.
Maybe overthinking is definitely a bad habit.
Yeah. And my bad habit is that I need to take other people's bad habits and we talk about them on a podcast, and then look for that to come in the coming weeks, because we'll be sharing Monica's bad habits
Very
on the
few.
podcast. No, listen. All the things that you said to me on that card today, I could say doubly about you.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're holding hands under the table.
You're-
If you can't
you're-
notice, if you don't notice,
you're a very.
I see it.
You're my hugest blessing. Tom, second. But
distant second,
Distant
real far down the line.
no, I've been blessed with a lot of things in my life, including 4 wonderful children.
Yeah.
But the blessing that has come at this stage of my life in you is unexpected, undeserved, and I will be forever grateful for it. And thank you.
Wow. I think we have to close this thing out now because I'm about to cry,
Crying.
or Monica will.
Yeah.
Bill might.
Thought we better end on a good note.
It's a good note. Wow.
Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. Tom Mann, as always, you've been very helpful and a great host here in the Tom Mann studio. Monica, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again for the nice note today, and thank you for sticking with us and hanging in there with us. And look forward to Southern Illinois Made Expo. Again, that's coming up July 18th and 19th. 18th for the talent show on the square at Little Nashville. 19th is the traditional event at the pavilion. Lots to get excited about there. For this one for Media Group, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.